whole tripod came down with my iPhone on it. So that was not fun. I apologize for the R-ratedness of the video if you happen to be on, but it happened. So, but nonetheless, what I'm doing today is I'm mixing concrete. I've already got my water here. And I'm just gonna tear it away, and hopefully this tripod doesn't fall down again. Hold my breath. So I'm just going to mix it up and go do my concrete repair, and then come back over and pour the excess concrete into these forms behind me. So I'll kind of walk you around with me with my cameras, and let you see some of the behind the scenes. I'm pretty much going to put most of this water in here. And pour the rest back in my measuring cup. I'm going to put three pints in there and then start mixing. I couldn't find my hand trowel, so I'm going to have to use my margin trowel to do this concrete repair. And I just want to I don't want a real wet mix. I want to be able to slump it, put it into a peak, and just do a little bit of repair. And I'll show you that in a second. So the bag said 4 pints for a bag. Which I just don't know if that's accurate or not. So I'll mix it to consistency. But I don't have any more concrete. If I make it too wet, then I'm stuck with it. So I'm not gonna go too crazy. Obviously, this isn't going to be enough. So if you're watching, help me get to 1,000 by subscribing. I will have a big channel one day. So you might as well get on the train when we first start boarding. So the directions weren't the best. Let's add a little bit more water. So that's 4.5 pints right there. And I just want to get it just workable. For a 60-pound bag, you only want to you don't want more than 7 pints. I think as much concrete as I mixed out here. Remember, it gets confusing. You're mixing 60 pounds or 80-pound bags. And what's nice about mixing concrete with this hoe when you're not filming at least, you can work it from both angles and you're constantly just pulling. I'm gonna go ahead and go 5 pints. So instead of pushing and pulling, you can just pull. And it's easier on your back. You just pull with the hoe. So, still too clumpy for me. This is a 1/4 pint. So we're at 5 pints plus 1/4. It's right at that point where it's like you can easily add too much water, where it just starts sloshing around because I'm trying to get a good mix to be able to work with it. I'm trying to really be careful. About the amount that I mix. I'm gonna get some more water. I'm just off camera getting my water out of my water hose. So I shouldn't need more than a pint. So I'm just going to add little 1/4 pints. Until I get where I need to be. Obviously, if you're mixing a whole bunch of this up, you can, once you've done a bag, you can really fine tune it. You can really start to feel how the fluid of the concrete goes through. I want to get it smooth enough to where it's got a nice finish. So we're almost to 6 quarts. I think. Windy. Do not blow my phone over. Normally I would go to the other side of the bucket and mix it. Just gonna go just a touch more. So that's 6 pints. Even though I'm not really needing to keep track of it right now. This is the only bag I'm mixing. Earlier, my phone fell over in my tripod. The wind was blowing from the opposite direction. Now it's blowing. So I made the adjustments to my tripod so it would get better support from that direction. And now it's blowing from the opposite direction. The iPhone is just too fat. I'm going to call that good. I got my bucket here. I'll just go ahead and use this. Fill this bucket up. Yeah, it's got a nice slump to it. I'm going to use my margin trowel and that. And let's see here. I'll go ahead and stop this time lapse. Grab this. Go over here. All right, I'm going to set that up right there. Set this up here. So if anybody's watching this now or later, we're on a road to 1,000 subscribers. I'm hoping to get there soon. So I just thought it'd be kind of cool to do some behind the scenes videos. Forgot I was going to spray these down with my water bottle. Give it a little bit better adhesion. This is the one footing that I did that got slightly out of level with my form, my top form. So the back end is, I've got it shimmed up with a board. So when I'm trying to push concrete back in there to fill that void, and then I'll it'll be mounted up a little bit. Over here. I don't really need this. I need it, but I mainly just want to fill in the divot in the concrete, because what happened is I poured these footings and then I made custom height blocks and I didn't like have rebar in these footings sticking up. I just poured it. I wanted the blocks sitting on top so that if I ever needed to, it'd be easy to get rid of them. Or easier. So, like I said, I don't really need this because the weight's on this part of the concrete block, but it looks nicer. And it will help. I can remove that board later from under that block. And then I can fill it in. And at minimum, I can fill it in with some self-leveling cement or something. But this won't fill in with dirt and muck and junk now. And eventually I will put in some lattice around the whole thing so I can have still have vapor, like an air. It won't be an airtight seal underneath the shed. It airflow, keep everything nice and dry under there. Alright, so I'm gonna call that good enough. Probably gonna shrink up on me a little bit. Like I said, it's not the worst, not the biggest deal. The reality is I should have fixed this if I'd had concrete, but I could have fixed it then. But I can always come back in later and do this. That will do me for now. So let's go around and do the other footing. I'm gonna stop my time lapse. Grab this. I'll grab my camera and come back. I'll grab my phone. So if you're watching, I see I got a viewer. Just if you could just hit that subscribe button and help me get to the 1,000 subscribers. All right, let's put this here. I'm spraying this to help with the adhesion of this concrete that goes in this divot, so that the concrete I'm putting in will have less of a tendency to break away in the future. But this is really kind of a necessary repair. It's more cosmetic than anything else. Let's do this. Hoping the wind doesn't blow my camera over again. If you missed that earlier, if you happen to have been watching, it got a little bit R-rated there for a second. It's real life when it's live, 100%. The rest of my content's 95% real. So, and if you're watching, if you can, let me know if you can hear me okay. I'm just trying to shove this concrete in here. As far back as I can to fill in any voids. So what I'm trying to do is just do different things on this channel, kind of provide really just the life of myself. And I go by Bigfoot because I used to coach at the church league. Some of the kids noticed how hairy I am and called me Coach Bigfoot. So I just, when I made this channel years ago, I thought it'd be kind of cool to kind of use that name because it stuck. So it's just kind of giving the life of Bigfoot out here. And I'm having to use my margin trowel, which is actually extremely handy. Really good for doing tile. But I couldn't find my other hand trowel. Again, I'm just doing this. It's just really purely cosmetic because the dirt will end up getting on this footing here. I'm just trying to help keep junk and water and ice from getting in there. Let's turn it around over here. I'm going to spray down this for adhesion. Help slow the drying down just a little bit. And once I'm done with this, I'll take my excess concrete and make those, put it in those old forms. Just to use up my excess, not waste it. Which I'll probably start doing. I used to do it with like, I put my excess when I'm tiling with that mortar. I get these little orange buckets like I've got my cement in. And I make little round shaped blocks, mortar. You can actually use them for like concrete patty, like pavers. I mean, they're, depending on how much excess you have, they're pretty thick. But I mean, otherwise it's just going to get thrown away. I'm trying to mount it a little bit in there because it will shrink a little bit. Push it under there. As you do this, it becomes a little bit more fluid. And it just goes in places that's got air voids and stuff like that. Just trying to feather it out a little bit. A lot of times when you do this, the rocks will go down. But since this is not just a form, it's it gets thinner as it comes out here from the concrete breaking. Which, by the way, that I was going to say that happened because when I poured these upper forms, they bonded to my footing. The footing hadn't been 28 days since I had poured it, so it wasn't even fully cured, not in the middle at least. And the ones that were still, because I poured them all at different times, and it bonded to them suckers. There were two of them I could not get out, broken loose. All right, I feel pretty good about that. Much better. All right, let's go over here and do some concrete forms. All right, if you're watching, help me get to 1,000 subscribers. This live is basically going to serve the purpose of behind the scenes of Bigfoot videos. And so basically all my videos, I take them, I'm filming one right now while I'm doing this live. And so you get to kind of see what's going on behind the scenes. And if you missed it earlier, my camera, my iPhone fell over because of the wind, and it got a little bit R-rated. All right, so all right, so you'll get my other trowel so I can scoop stuff a little quicker. If you're scrolling through and you see this, drop a comment below and let me know if you can hear everything okay. You want to ask questions about what I'm doing. Try to address those as best I can. All right. So I'm just going to start filling up this form here. So I went ahead and set up 2 forms in case I don't have enough to do. I have more than enough to do the one, which I think I will. And I have some old rebar. Might go grab it, but I don't really want to fool with it. Might not be the right size. I've never done a form like this, with this kind of concrete at least. I've done concrete countertops. And I'm kind of curious to weigh this when I'm done. See how much concrete I used over there. Just need one form, and that won't even fill up a whole form. But yeah, one of the reasons I like YouTube is because I remember doing some kind of a research report. I don't even remember what school subject was in or anything. I remember making a statement in my report that it would be a very beneficial thing for somebody to create like a portal where you could go and pretty much search up virtually anything and answer to anything. And I didn't even really know about YouTube at the time. Like, I knew of it, but I didn't know you could. I thought it was just people like kind of blogging or whatever, which it is, but now it's so much more. But now it's so much more searchable. If you have a question about anything, you can pretty much get on there and learn about it. All right. Wet this down a little bit. So I'm just going to try to vibrate some of those air bubbles out. And when I'm done with this, I'll shut this live down. I'm going to do a different one. Get back on my sign up there. Let me go ahead and cut my grooves in the 2x4s on my rough cuts. And then I'll be able to start taking measurements. And I'm going to miter the corners together where the groove will hold the sign. If that makes sense. I'll be measuring to the inside. My 4-foot by 4-foot sign, I need to fit in those grooves. So I have to be measuring to there, and that's where my miter is going to have to coincide with that. This is much easier to do when you do a wetter mix, but I really needed a dry mix like this. And the corners really don't matter, honestly. It's just going to be some kind of a brick I have for leveling up something or whatever. Corners end up breaking off anyway. But even when you buy these from the store, I don't know what kind of concrete aggregate it has in it, and like it's got fibers to help hold together, but it doesn't have rebar, so they crack pretty easy. All right, cool. It's definitely got kind of a domed top to it. That's okay. That looks cool. I had a vibrating tool. Probably could help this. Oh, freaking rocks. That's America. Probably help this ease out into the edges a little bit. Sometimes you just got to walk away. All right, I'm just going to roll with that. Clean everything up. So if you're watching, just if you'll hit that subscribe button below, help me get to the 1,000 subscriber mark so I can just keep growing from there. I'm going to pretty much call it for this one. And also, too, drop a comment below. Let me know if you can hear everything okay and make sure I'm doing this right on the lives, because it's something new I've been doing lately, and I've only done this is probably like my third or fourth one. So I just kind of do this kind of stuff all the time, just different projects around the house, and try to teach, and hopefully somebody can learn something from my mistakes or my knowledge, or both, and then go from there. So we're just restoring the house, restoring the property back to its original magnificence, or whatever word you want to use for it. So if you enjoy that kind of stuff, then follow along. It'll be fun. Bigfoot out.